Hare Krishna, and welcome everyone to our weekly Bhagavad Gita session. And very interesting topic for today is attachment to Bhoga and Aishwarya. There's a specific verse which we are going to discuss in this connection, and we'll conclude it with a group discussion and learnings, key learnings for ourselves as we did in the previous session. With this, let's begin. Let's begin to explore Bhagavad Gita for our personal transformation. From our personal transformation, we don't know, at least in the spiritual, as far as spirituality is concerned, we are perplexed, we are confused, we don't know what to do, we don't know what is right, what is wrong. There are so many paths, so many gods, so many scriptures, so many instructions of what to follow, what not to follow, what is right, what is wrong. So, what to do? At least as far as spirituality is concerned, there is generally confusion in the society, and everyone seems to be like Arjuna, confused, doesn't know what to do, don't know what to do. And a lot of people are still doing a lot of things, and none of them are happy, none of them feel completely satisfied, none of them feels that they have all the answers, they understand why they are doing what they are doing. um, they've been, some of them do it as a culture, some of them do it as part of tradition, we have always done it this way, and some do out of some superficial motive, some do out of some just do out of fear, some do out of being fearful of having getting a negative repercussions if we don't do it. But there is generally a big confusion over spirituality, over religion, over religious practices, in India as well as across the world. And Bhagavad Gita clear up all those doubts. Bhagavad Gita will help us clear the air, bring clarity, bring can answer can answer every question that may cross our mind about why, how, what. All of those questions we can find answers in Bhagavad Gita. And when we find those answers, we can look like Arjuna on the right hand side. We can look like Arjuna, look like someone who is in control of their emotions. We can look like someone who knows what to do, not just know what to do, they know why they need to do that. They need to know, just it's not sufficient sometimes to know what, we should also understand why, so that we can convince our own self. We can do this with conviction, and whatever we are convinced about, we can do it for long time. We can do it forever. And second, when we get questioned by people, we are able to respond confidently. We may not be able to convince them because they will all have their own baggage of half truth, half knowledge. So some curious souls may get convinced, but others will get convinced that you know what you are doing. Then they will stop bothering you. So at least that can happen, and that is how we progress. We can then follow spiritual practice, devotional service we can perform. A hetuki, a pratihata. A hetuki means without any ulterior motives, and a pratihata means continuous, without any interruptions. So this is Arjuna's position, and we can attain this position where we can say that we are ready to serve Krishna in any and every condition. That kind of a situation we can attain for our own self after study of Bhagavad Gita. So battlefield, we are all experience this Monday morning, as if we are entering a battlefield for the next 5 days, 6 days, depending on your work schedule. But this is common. This is how we feel, when catching Mumbai local early in the morning, we feel like as if we are on the battlefield. Um, Fiddling with priorities at home, we feel as if we are on the battlefield. Deciding what to do with limited resources, money, time, we feel as if we are on the battlefield. managing expectations in office, home, by friends, among spouses. We feel as if we are on the battlefield. So we are never away from battlefield. We are always there in the battlefield. We are always battling something or the other. Either we are battling our own mind, our own desires, our own aspirations, our own goals, or we are battling somebody else's expectation from us. Either way, rarely there will be a time when you will not feel that as if the battle is over. There will, and sometimes the one battle gets over, the another 10 pop-ups. So it's a continuous lifelong process. One of the actress spoke this in one of the interview that if on any particular day, on any day, if I feel I have no problems, I will go in front of a mirror to see if I really exist on that day. um, Sounds profound. I don't know whether she read Bhagavad Gita, but what she meant is these problems, the battle is with the problems, and problems will perpetually exist as long as we exist. And they will continue to exist because we will continue to exist in future also, so we will just change body. So battlefield is so synonymous, so so relatable, for us. View this world as from these eyes, and then you will see all of us are on that battlefield. We discussed this, Arjuna's dilemma, and Arjuna is refusing to fight, citing various reasons, and we've listed and discussed these reasons multiple times, so we'll not spend a lot of time on this. And then he speak this beautiful verse: "Karpanya dosho pahatasva bhavaha, pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha." Very beautiful words. Pruchhami tvam. I'm asking you, very specific, dharma sammudha cheta. I'm confused about my duty, and in this bewildered state of mind, I'm asking you, Krishna, even though you are present here as my driver in a position which is subordinate to me apparently, but I know you are supreme personality of Godhead and you are worth consulting. You have by your own will taken this minuscule service, but you have my best interest in your mind, and therefore yet shreyah syam nishchitam bruhitan me. Tell me, what is shreya is means what is best for me. Oh, Krishna, you can tell me my what is best for me. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Surud Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Rachati. Surud is well wisher. I am your ever well wisher. I will always wish good for you. What is best for you? So Arjuna is asking that very clear question. And for that, he's ready to give up his superior position as a charioteer, and he says, I can become your shishyaste aham shadhi matvam prapannam. I can surrender. I'm surrendering to you, and you please instruct me what is best for me. So Arjuna is asking this question, and then if we contemplate on this particular beautiful verse, so we will realize that we also have so many questions inside our head. We just don't know to whom to ask. Sometimes these questions get buried deep down under in our mind so much um, that they don't surface, and we feel as if we have no questions, but we are always grappling with questions. We always have these questions, multiple questions. We just don't know whom to ask, and therefore we stop thinking about those. But that does not solve the problem. It just it is just postponement of a problem, not a solution of a resolution of a problem. But now, having come in contact with Bhagavad Gita, all of you can now pull out those questions, pose those questions to us. whatever we can, we will answer. Whatever we cannot, we will get those answers for you from our senior devotees. So at least you can now live a a life without doubt, a doubt-free life. Asamshayaha. Seventh chapter, first verse, Krishna will speak this, that it's important. It's important to clear your mind, have clarity. It's important to ask questions so that you can practice devotional service without doubt. Asamshayaha. That's so that's why we should be also thinking of and asking for the questions. So these are the some of the verses we've seen. Um, Atmadhyan, Atmadhyan is what was provided, starting with the verse 2.13, 2.12 actually, where he made a brief reference that all of us are eternal anyway. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam neme janadipaha nai chaivam na bhavishyamaha sarvem maya atah param. So that all these kings, you and me, existed in past, existing today, and will continue to exist. But we will not exist in our present bodies. Our bodies are temporary. We've been given these bodies for this birth, for this lifetime, based on our past karmas. But this body we will give up and accept another body. If you know this, you will not get bewildered. If you have a duty to effect this change of body for other people, you should do that. You should do that, and that is not going to be incurrence of any sin. So, dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatra na muhyati. Don't get bewildered by this change and perform your duties. Then, so this is Atmadhyan, knowledge about the self, knowledge about the self. And it is important because if I know who am I can act in that consciousness. If I wake up tomorrow morning thinking I'm Prime Minister of India, and I start writing orders to Finance Ministry, Home Ministry, and Defense Ministry, uh, all my efforts, whatever I will do thinking I'm Prime Minister of India, will be wasted. Why? Because I'm actually misidentifying myself as someone else. I am right now in this present condition is I'm not Prime Minister of India. There is another Prime Minister of India who is holding this position of authority. So if he writes a instruction, it will have effect. If I write instruction, it will have no effect. Nobody will act on it. So all my endeavors will be wasted. So it's important for us to also understand who we really are. When we know we are spiritual sparks, we are spirit soul, and we are part and parcel of Krishna, then we can act in that consciousness. We don't have to act in somebody else's consciousness. So if a car gets nourished by petrol, it's foolish to assume that the driver also get nourished by that same petrol, because car and driver are separate identities. Similarly, if our body gets nourished by food which is produced from by the third chapter Bhagavad Gita, will have a verse that annat bhavati bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha. What subsists human, the living entities should subsist on grains which are produced by rain. So there is no meat eating recommended by Krishna for everyone. So what to speak of animals, but humans definitely should eat grains, not which are produced by rains. Whatever is produced by rain is what we are supposed to eat. So, um, so a human body, which is also made up of the same five elements, gets the nourishment by the food which is produced by using the same five elements. However, soul is spiritual energy, is a spiritual spark which is different than all these five elements. Soul is not made up by earth, water, air, fire, ether. So soul cannot be nourished by anything that is produced using these five elements, which means nothing in this world can satisfy a soul. Just like no matter what quality of petrol um, you may you may make the driver drink, it will not satisfy him. so so he will never be happy, he will not be accepting that petrol, no matter you say this is best quality petrol or this is whatever it is, whatever the kind of the fuel that you're using for your car, but none of those fuel that you're using to recharge your car can recharge your driver. He needs different, he's a different he's a different entity completely, and he has different requirements. Similarly, spirit soul is a different entity altogether, and because spirit soul is has the qualities same as Krishna, the soul gets nourishment when he connects himself with Krishna. Soul gets nourishment when he connects himself with Krishna. It is natural. Later in one of the purport Prabhupada write that it is natural. Why? Because it is indeed natural. Just like a car, when when the driver gets food, he gets energized, but by drinking petrol, he does not feel energized. But by drinking one glass of milk, he will feel energized. Similarly, a soul gets energized when the soul gets connected with Krishna, because that soul has been separated from Krishna and nobody else. He's not been separated from anyone else. Nobody else has claimed us to be their part and parcel. So the moment we get connected with Krishna, we experience nourishment, we experience happiness. That's a simple reason why we should become Krishna conscious, because we cannot become anything else conscious, because we are part and parcel of Krishna. The some verses, we are in the section where we concluded that section where Krishna gives Atma Gyan. Atma Gyan is important. Atma Gyan is very important, as we say, but Atma Gyan is not sufficient. Why? Because having Atma Gyan, having knowledge about the self, I exist in the world, and in this world, I am bound by duties. I'm bound by duty, various kind of duties. The moment I take birth, I have father and mother, and I have duties towards them. I have to maintain my own body. No, so I have some duties towards my body, because if I don't do those properly, my body will fall sick, and it may cease to exist very quickly. So I have to maintain my body. So I have duties towards my own body. I have duties towards own my own father and mother, and then I have duties towards my family. There could be other family members in my family, and I will have some duties. I can be elder brother to somebody, I can be younger, I can have a younger sister, and I can have nice friends, I can have nice neighbors, and I will have a nice society. I can have duties towards all the Marathi people in Maharashtra, and and I can have duties towards my country. I can have duties towards humanity. I can have duties towards this whole world. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. So there are I can keep expanding, and so there are various duties which are associated with this body. I have duties towards animals. There are many people who does a lot of work for saving animals, and protecting animals from getting killed, and many a lot of work happens on that front, because they feel they are responsible. They are in a position to save those. They feel they should act on that inspiration. So various duties, endless duties that we have, but we also have primary duty towards Krishna. So we saw in the Bhagavatam verse that uh, that there's a superior duty for which is a there's a superior duty. There are the primary duty and there are secondary duties. Primary duty is to worship adhokshaja. Savai pumso paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Yato bhaktir adhokshache. Adhokshache is the one who is beyond the material senses, one who cannot be perceived, cannot be reached by our mind and senses, who is beyond all of this, and only Krishna qualifies with that has that qualification to be beyond all the beyond the mind and beyond the senses is only Krishna. And therefore, Savai Pumso Paro Dharma. Paro Dharma. This is a Paro Dharma. There is a Para and a Apara. Para means superior, Apara is inferior. Para means primary, Apara means secondary. So there's a primary duty for every human being, every living entity, but more for so because for the human beings is to bhakti adhokshaj, yato bhakti adhokshaj, that adhokshaj ki bhakti karna, adhokshaj ki Bhagwan Sri Krishna ki bhakti karna, ye primary duty hai for all the living entities. Everything else is secondary. Maintaining your body, your duty toward your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, your neighbor, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your children, your uncle and aunties, and your country, everything is secondary. There could be order in that as well. There could be something superior and something subordinate in that as well. However, in principally, everything is secondary. So any performance of any duty to anybody is affecting our bhakti towards Krishna. That's a problem that we must attend to immediately. This is because our primary duty cannot be compromised, should not be compromised. This is what we will hear in today's session. And we will also talk about what is it that is preventing us from performing our primary duty towards Lord Krishna. We so this knowledge, Atmajnan, with this knowledge, we are proceeding further and we are understanding that we have duties to perform, and those duties we cannot escape. And then we start thinking about various ways in which these duties can be performed. And there are various ways in which there is a karma kand section. Karma kand section is where we understand how duties can be performed. So there are atheists. There are atheists who are non-believers. They believe that no God exists. They are only God. Whatever, they could have multiple conceptions that duty worship is wrong. Offering lamp is wrong. Offering agarbatti to Bhagwan is such foolish idea, and they have many such conceptions. The food, nobody can eat food. The stone cannot eat food. They will have all these conceptions, and some of them may start thinking that science, technology, development, science is God, technology is God. They are fulfilling all our desires, so they are actually God. Why are we going to temple? Temple is most wasted resource. The root cause of all problem is religion. Somebody had said religion is opium for the society. Many famous philosophers have spoken against God. One is, you don't agree with God, you don't accept God, but these people as if they are fighting a war against God, against the conception of God itself. So they just don't limit their knowledge to themselves, but because of their influential position in the society, they propagate to other people to give up the worship of God, give up connection with God. So there are atheists, there are strong atheists who protest against God, and then there are lot of people in between who sometimes feel they are right, sometimes feel God exists, sometimes feel God doesn't exist, depending on my condition. So there is, and then there are people who are more on the side of God. They believe God exists, but They may not have clear idea about God. They may not know who is God. They may not know how I can approach God. They may not know what to do with God. Even if He's there, what am I supposed to do? One of the uncles said once that um, yeah, I believe in God. Let him enjoy wherever he is. Let me enjoy wherever I am at. So this is also a conception of God. A lot of people carries with themselves. And this verse onwards, 2.39 onwards, we start looking at different kind of people, uh, and what are their motives, how they are motivated towards performance of bhakti. So they are the people who believe something higher exists, and that something higher can provide me with some enjoyment. If I align myself with them, if I then I can get superior happiness, superior enjoyments through them. So so this is a switch. This is the switch verse that we discussed, that Sankhya is dry analysis. This is this is body, this is soul. Body is temporary, soul is eternal. Body cannot be protected, soul cannot be destroyed. So everybody will everyone has taken birth, everyone will die, is sure to die, and after death they will again take birth. Soul, there's no soul has never taken birth, soul will not die. Nainam chindanti shastrani. Soul cannot be cut into pieces by any weapon. Nainam dahati pavakaha. Soul can't be burned by fire. Soul can't be withered by wind, and soul can't be you can't put water on the soul. So it's completely unaffected by the five elements of nature by which the whole universe is created. So this is analysis, hard analysis, philosophical analysis. But analysis does not fill your belly, and so you'll have to act. And how to act? Can that God with to whose part and parcel am I, can provide me with delicious food? Can I get more delicious food? How can I get more enjoyment? I have five senses. I want to see beautiful forms. I want to see beautiful scenes. I want to enjoy with my eyes. I want to enjoy with my smell. We used to have a um, in our office area, we used to have a sale closer to Diwali where they used to come and sale, put up a sale for brands, foreign brands or famous, so-called famous brands of perfumes. And people used to jump over each other to buy those perfumes of at 50 and 60% discounts. This to be this to be security. They had to put security in order to control the crowd, from stamping each other. Uh, I pray, wonder when such rush will come for purchasing Bhagavad Gita. The same people who refuse to accept Bhagavad Gita are paying thousands of rupees to buy those perfumes at 50 and 60% discounts. So much value, that perfume bottles, small perfume bottles, had in their eyes, in their consciousness, that they were ready to jump on each other's head, to get hold uh, get hold of the bottle which they want to purchase. So this is our condition. So we want to enjoy. We want to enjoy using all our five senses. With our body, we want to touch soft objects. With our eyes, we want to. So by using all our senses, we want to enjoy. And the world is busy providing us with various ways and means of such enjoyment. World want to feel, the marketing industry, the advertisers wants to fill our consciousness with objects of enjoyment that you can never get a time to think about Krishna. They can do that if you indulge too much into the social media, advertising, television, OTT, sports, events, movies, music. You will you will your lifetime will simply get consumed, and you will have no time to think about Bhagavad Gita, no time to think about, even if you know your soul, you will have no time to understand what soul is supposed to do in the material world. So that is the power that they possess, and it is up to us to really deal with them in a cautious way. uh, we can't stop dealing with them, but we should deal with them in such a way that they don't let consume our consciousness, they don't let impact our consciousness. We are able to protect our Krishna consciousness from the onslaught of this world. एषते भीता सांख्ये बुद्धि योगे त्वेमा शृणु बुद्ध्या युक्त यया पार्थ कर्म बंधम प्रहास्यसि. The Krishna is saying, I'm now explain how to act in such a way that you can free yourself from bondage of work. Not every action everyone is performing, in fact the other way around, that every action everyone is performing is actually binding them everywhere. Even if you go and save someone's life, it's bondage. It's a good karma, it's a sattvic karma, but it will lead to bondage. When you go and steal somebody's money or say something bad to someone, insult someone's, you're doing a tamasic karma, and that will also lead to a fruit. Every action is going to lead to a fruit, and to enjoy or suffer for those fruits, we will continuously need a body, and we will which for which we will continue to take birth. So this is the karma bandha, this is the bondage of work. And then Krishna says that now I will explain. I'll explain, but before explaining that path, Krishna will glorify that path. He says, if you act in such a way that by which you will not be bound, so act in devotional service to Lord Krishna. Perform actions in devotional service to Lord Krishna, and if you do that, those actions will not produce fruits. And then he glorify that this path of bhakti yoga, नेहा भिक्रम नाशोस्ति नाशोस्ति प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते स्व अल्पम इपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. स्व अल्पम अपि अस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्. नाशोस्ति, इट डज नॉट, उसका नाश नहीं होता. भक्ति में आप जो कुछ करेंगे उसका नाश नहीं होता. अपोजिट टू दैट, आप मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में जो कुछ भी करेंगे, वॉट एवर यू विल डू, नो मैटर हाउ मच क्वांटिटी क्वालिटी, उसका नाश गारंटीड है, उसका नाश होगा. नो मैटर हाउ यू मे बिकम richest person in the world, when you give up this body and born again, you start with zero. So no matter how much qualifications that you degrees you get in this world, no matter how famous you may become in this world, when you are when you accept new body, you again start from zero. So Nash is peculiar feature of this world. Everything that manifests in this world move from that moment onwards, it move towards destruction. The human body grows up to a certain point, but from then onwards it start getting deteriorated. So deterioration, destruction is the nature of the world. The world is designed to get destroyed. Every all our so every body, every human body, all of us are becoming older by one day, by every day, every hour, every minute. We are becoming older. None of us can claim to become young. So that is the nature of the world, that nashoste. And opposite to that is the nature of spiritual activity. If you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that will never get destroyed, because that's activity for by the soul for super soul. And Krishna keep account of all of that. He can keep account of all our stupid actions performed for sense gratification in the material world. So do you think he will not be able to keep actions of all the spiritual activity that we may perform? How many times we have paid obeisances to in front of deities? How many times we have participated in the kirtan? How many times we have chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra with sincerity? How many times we have honored devotees? How many times we have paid obeisances to the devotees? How many times we have served devotees? Will he not be able to keep account of all that? When he can keep account of all the stupid activity that we perform in the material world, and because he has to give us fruits, every action leads to a reaction. That reaction is nothing but a fruit, and that fruit, when delivered, I enjoy, or I suffer in the world. So if he's keeping a good account of all the material actions, will he not keep good account of all the spiritual actions? In fact, he will look at these actions by wide eyes. He will ignore faults in those actions, and he will accept whatever is done by us. So not nashosti, nashosti, that that does not get destroyed. And even if small endeavors on the path of bhakti can save you from greatest danger, greatest type of fears. And the greatest type of fear is death. And we discussed the case study of Ajamil, who was protected by even inadvertently chanting the name of Narayan at the moment of death. And the Vishnu Dutas come. There was beautiful dialogue between Vishnu Duta and Yamadutas, where both were claiming ownership of that soul. Yamdutas was saying, ये तो हमारा ये हमारा गिराइक है. He is such a sinful person. He has to suffer. He must suffer. Why are you interfering in our work? We know what is right, what is wrong. We are agents of Yamaraj. हम लोग फालतू लोग नहीं है, गुंडे मवाली नहीं है, रोड साइड पीपल नहीं है. We know philosophy. We know what he has done. We have full account of his activities, all kind of sinful activities that he has done, make him a fit candidate for hell. And why are you interfering? And then Vishnu Dutas give beautiful another 1 hour session, maybe, to Yamadutas, explaining them that how devotees are superior. A small devotional service, um, if he get mercy from Lord, even a small endeavor of bhakti can destroy all his sins. Has the capacity, because Lord can do anything, and he can destroy our sins as well. And then, therefore, he should not be taken to hell. He is not your customer, he is our customer. And then they ultimately take him from Varanasi. Jamil actually leaves his body and go back to Krishna, go back to Vaikuntha. Now, this is bhakti is best performed with single-minded focus. And we discussed this in our previous session, that vyavasayitmaka buddhir ekeha kuru nandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhaya vyavasayinam. Just like a person who is a businessman, a professional, has a single-minded focus on his business, on his profession. Why? Because he does not have plan B. And therefore similar focus is required in bhakti also, o kurunandana, that you can if you it is best performed with single minded focus. And if you have multi branch approach, I will do this also, I will do that also, little bit of this, little bit of that, will not really help you succeed in bhakti. And we discussed that even for material success, we need single minded focus, what to speak of. Why? So it's not at all surprising that we want similar single minded focus for becoming successful in bhakti yoga, in devotional service, in going back to Krishna. So, so we all should understand that we need focus. We need to understand that we have to work with a single-minded focus. We need attention. Bhakti is easy, but bhakti also requires a lot of endeavor. It's easy, and it becomes easy later. But the transition phase, when we are moving from material consciousness to spiritual consciousness, there could be little struggle. But same struggle exists everywhere. So why not struggle for Krishna instead of struggling for our own stupid benefits, which are anyway supposed to get nash? So जिसका नाश नहीं होता है, ऐसे चीजों के लिए एफर्ट करना चाहिए. And therefore we should also put in single minded focus, perform bhakti with single minded focus. And for that, to get that, whatever doubts we may have, we should clear it with our devotees. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, कृष्णा सेज कि सभी लोग ऐसे तो नहीं हो सकते कि भक्ति करे एकदम. तो व्हाट आर द अदर टाइप ऑफ पीपल दैट एग्जिस्ट? Krishna speak about those in 42nd and 43rd verse. Yamimam pushpitam vacham pravadyanta vipaschitaha vedavadarataha partha nanyadastiti vadinaha kamatmanaha swargapara janma karma falapradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogeshwarya gatim prati. Krishna is calling them men of small knowledge, small intelligence. So they are not very recommended. Krishna is speaking about them in Bhagavad Gita. Now, Krishna is speaking about Vedavadarataha Partha और क्रिया विशेष बहुलाम भोगेश्वर्य गतिम प्रति, ऐसी क्रियाएं करे, ऐसी विशेष क्रिया करे, सो दैट आपको भोग और ऐश्वर्य की प्राप्ति होगी. स्वर्ग परा कामात्मना स्वर्ग परा, स्वर्ग स्वर्ग भी मिल सकता है. नाउ ऑल दिस इज Krishna is speaking about all this not as a recommended course of action, but he's saying that there are people who do this. There are people, but he's not really admiring those people. Why? Because we know he's calling them men of small knowledge. Men of small knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita contains lot of information. Not every information is is recommendation for Krishna. What Krishna will recommend, he will speak that in a very specific manner. That this exists, but you do this. Just like in a career counseling meeting, I may tell a child that, oh, you're good in this, good in that, good in this, good in that. But based on my experience, my understanding of your skill set, your inclinations, I think you should choose one of the career options from 1 to 3. Now, he would have explained them 10 path, but he's recommending 1, 2, 3 in that order. So best is if you do one. If you cannot do this, maybe you try do second. If you cannot do one and two, at least do three. Whatever else you will do, you will struggle. You will struggle to cope up, because all those all those career choices may not be in line with the inclinations that you possess, the talents and the skills and the likings that you possess. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita will also talk about various things, but Bhagavad Gita will recommend certain things. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita is here. Krishna is speaking about people like this. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. Now, open your phones and look at your contact list and think of people's motive, what motivates people, and you will find a lot of people actually are motivated or have a belief that life is meant for enjoyment. Life is simply meant for enjoyment, and all their endeavors, all their efforts, all their the whole consciousness is consumed by the thought of how I can enjoy next. While enjoying, trying to enjoy something, also they are thinking what next. When if they are sitting in a bar and drinking alcohol, simultaneously they're planning when should we meet next, and when should, because so this is the condition of people, and Krishna is saying them that these are the people of small knowledge. uh, Now they are talking about Vedas. Vedas, Vedavadarataha Partha, Nanya Dastiti Vadini. Vedas also give a lot of information. Now, now Vedas, as just as Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of information, but Bhagavad Gita recommends certain kind of information. Bhagavad Gita recommends certain course of action. Even though Bhagavad Gita has spoken elaborately about say sixth chapter, we talk in detail about dhyana yoga, but Krishna does not explain dhyana yoga, recommend dhyana yoga for Arjuna, because he says चंचलम ही मन कृष्णा प्रमाथि बलवत दृढ़म। तो ये चंचल है, प्रमाथि है, बलवान है और दृढ़ है मेरा मन। एंड कृष्णा सेज करेक्ट, यू आर राइट, असंशयम ही महाबाहो, yes you're right, so you should not try to practice dhyana yoga. So, what is the recommended course of action for Arjuna and to all of us? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatin antaratmana श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम समयुक्त तमोतः। सिंपल, श्रद्धा से जो मेरा भजन करता है, भक्ति योगा, जो anybody who is following bhakti yoga is most is the best yogi amongst all yogis. So he's clearly recommended bhakti yoga to be the ultimate, to be the best of amongst all yogas. And bhakti yoga uh, also is mentioned in Vedas, but it's not highlighted in Vedas. Why? Because Vedas are written for facilitating people's sense gratification in legal way. In the by staying within the boundaries of dharma, so the people's attachment is not with Krishna, not with God, not with that one who's providing with them with all these facilities. They're attached to the facilities themselves. And hence Vasudev had to write something uh, using which using which people will be able to get their satisfy their urges for sense gratification by staying within the boundaries of dharma. Now, that was also important. That's why, after writing these Vedas, Vyasadeva was not satisfied at all. And Narad Muni had to then interfere and ask him to write specific glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And then he wrote Bhagavatam, and then he was completely satisfied. Because Vedas are good, but Vedas are not ultimate. Vedas don't give the best instruction. This verse is not there in the Vedas, that savai pumso paro dharma yato bhaktir adhokshaje. uh, Vedas also don't have a verse where Krishna says सर्व धर्मान परित्यज्य माम एकम शरणम व्रज। सिर्फ सारी ड्यूटीज छोड़ के मेरा शरण, मेरी शरणागति ले लो। एंड अहम त्वम सर्व पापेभ्यो मोक्ष इच्छामि मा शुचम। I can deliver you from all kind of sinful reactions. Do not fear, ma shucha. Um, because Vedas are meant for people who are seeking sense enjoyment, and therefore it's like it's like a it's like earlier, there was a lot of the so this He-Man, Batman, and all of those members of this man family, they become very famous. There were very cartoons which were there. Many films were produced by them. And when people, all the malls were filled with merchandising, which had Batman on it, which had all these Thor and all of those people were appearing on those t-shirts and caps and everything. People, why Bhagavad, those malls also had copies of Bhagavad Gita, but they were showcasing these things. Why? Because everybody is coming searching for these things, so they displayed those things in a prominent way. Not that they didn't had any other thing, they also had Bhagavad Gita, but which is kept somewhere back of the store where probably hardly anybody reaches. In the book section also, these comic books are predominantly displayed, but Bhagavad Gita will be displayed where nobody you'll have to really go and search for Bhagavad Gita. Similarly, why this is not that it is because that's what people are asking. So when Vyasadeva wrote Vedas, the four Vedas, they predominantly to keep people who are seeking sense enjoyment within the boundary of dharma, so that by if they follow adharmic ways to get the sense gratification, their their downfall will be far greater. So at least let them remain within the boundaries of dharma and seek sense gratification. Hopefully, by the devotee association, by getting no more knowledge, they may come to a point where they may get tired of sense gratification and they may seek higher knowledge. And that time Bhagavad Gita can be presented to them, Bhagavatam can be presented to them, and then they can give up their attachment, excessive attachment to the sense gratification, and come to the platform of bhakti yoga. Prabhupada writes in the purport, people in general are not very intelligent, and due to their ignorance, they are most attached to the fruitive activities recommended in the Karma Kanda portions of Vedas. They do not want anything more than sense gratificatory proposals for enjoying life in heaven, where wine and woman are available and material opulence is very common. In the Vedas, many sacrifices are recommended for elevation to the heavenly planets, especially the Jyotisama sacrifices. In fact, it is stated that anyone desiring elevation to the heavenly planet must perform these sacrifices, and men with poor fund of knowledge think that this is the whole purpose of Vedic wisdom. It is very difficult for such inexperienced persons to be situated in the determined action of Krishna consciousness. So again, Prabhupada reiterating the same point that they may start with bhakti. They may be seen as performing some bhakti. On Monday, they may be seen as going to one temple. On Tuesday, another temple, regularly donating at one place, and then another, and then another, then another. Then they are seen doing so-called dharmic activities, religious practices. Wherever they will see a temple, they will fold hand, they will offer agargatti, they will offer divya, they will offer lot of they'll do all of these things at multiple places, multiple levels, to the best of their ability. But their primary goal, there it's not it's more like ordering from Amazon. Now you're not in love with Amazon, but you're in love with those things that comes from Amazon. Similarly, you're not in love with God, but you're in love with the sensual experiences that are available by enjoying the products of His God. So Prabhupada is referring to them as inexperienced person, people with poor fund of knowledge, unintelligent people. Now all of these are the phrase are the upadhis given to these people. Now lot of us, I was part of this gang anyway. I was for long time I was part of this gang where I believed that life is meant for enjoyment. And uh, coming from, given our family background, we felt it's we should enjoy to the extent things are available to us by remaining in the the four walls of dharma, without really indulging into any unwanted illegal activities to to the extent possible. So whole big society actually is in this part of this first paragraph. They are here. um, so Prabhupada writes further, as fools are attached to the flowers of poisonous trees, um, without knowing the result of such attraction, unintelligent, unenlightened men are similarly attracted by such heavenly opulence and sense enjoyment thereof. Such bodily happiness is certainly sensual. Therefore, there are those who are purely attached to such material temporary happiness as lords of the material nature. They want to become lords of the material world, and eventually they want to go to heavenly planets and enjoy superior sensual activities. Eating, mating, sleeping, defending. That's what happens in the material world, and they want to do the same thing by going to the spiritual world. Beautiful verse. भोगेश्वर्य प्रसक्तानाम तया अपहृत चेतसाम व्यवसायित्मका बुद्धि समाधौ न विधीयते. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, too attached, those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things. So, two things: one is too attached and are bewildered by such things. What happens to such people? The resolute determination for devotional service to Supreme Lord does not take place. Such people are unable to perform devotional service in ahetuki apratihata way that is recommended by Srimad Bhagavatam. Ahetuki, without any motive. No, no. These people actually perform devotional service with a lot of motives. And at times they will make their devotional service conditional to they getting what they want. So there and such devotional service when performed with that consciousness cannot be done for long time. So apratihata means uninterrupted. Now such devotees are unable to perform devotional service in an uninterrupted way because they come to God for specific outcome, specific objective way by having some goal in their mind, specific objective in their mind. And if they see that getting fulfilled, they go away for enjoying what they get. If they see that's not getting fulfilled, they just move away to another god or another way. So Bhogeshwarya Prasaktana means too much attached, heavily attached to Bhoga and Aishwarya. Bhoga is sense gratification, Aishwarya is opulence. Taya apaharata chetasa. Apahar is apaharan is a apahar is apaharan. Apaharan means kidnapping. Just like a small child returning from school, few big men come and lift a child and take him away. That is called apaharan. That we see, we know that that is known as apaharan or kidnapping. Here, Krishna is talking about kidnapping of chetana, kidnapping of our mind and intelligence. And so, what happens is, if you become too attached uh, to the sense enjoyment, too attached to the sense enjoyment and material opulence, and you start chasing them, get bewildered by such things, means when you such see such objects of sensual potential sensual enjoyment, if you get bewildered by that, uh, if your attention is drawn towards that, if you forget everything else and start looking at that object, when you, and that is a indication that such person cannot perform bhakti cannot perform devotional service. So samadhi is in Ashtanga Yoga also samadhi is mentioned, and samadho is samadhana, that is a satisfaction, contentment, even both way, whatever way we may interpret that. Samadhi na vidhiyate, you will not take place, you will not get that satisfaction, you will not get that samadhi, that that progress in devotional service is impossible to such people. Right in the very small purport, that when the mind is fixed for understanding the self, it is said to be in samadhi. Samadhi is never possible for persons interested in material sense enjoyment and bewildered by such temporary things. They are more or less condemned by the process of material energy. In order for enjoying senses, for us to be able to enjoy senses, we have to believe that we are the body, we are, if we think constantly that we are soul, then nothing in connection with the body will become attractive to you. If we were to get convinced about the fact that we are actually spirit soul, only spiritual things will attract our attention. Nothing material will look attractive to us. Just like a driver, um, no matter what quality of petrol that you may put in front of him in a glass, he will not be attracted towards that. Why? Because he's not, it's by design, there is no attraction. But if he thinks that he is car, then he will believe that to 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 get the nourishment to run, he has to drink petrol, and therefore he will start drinking petrol. But otherwise, if in his original consciousness as car driver, he will have zero attraction for the petrol. Similarly, For us, if we become fixed in the consciousness that we are spirit soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna, then anything and everything connected with Krishna only will look attractive to us. Everything else which is not connected with Krishna, we will not be attracted to that. A hog or a pig, when a soul is in pig's body, that body gets attracted towards human stool. But in human body, human stool does not look very attractive. It does not look like a eatable object. So we act according to our consciousness. We act according to our consciousness. So Prabhupada writes here that when the mind is fixed on understanding the self, uh, then these things will lose their attraction to us. And conversely, if we have a lot of attraction for this, it implies that our mind is not fixed on Krishna. Our mind is still not in the fully in the spiritual consciousness. Because of that, we still have some attraction for sense enjoyment and material opulence. We'll look at some examples. Now, this point is given in Bhagavad Gita, will be elaborated by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 5, and wherever he gets opportunity, he'll speak about this. That you should give up, you should regulate your senses, you should regulate your sense enjoyment. Sense enjoyment is not the goal of life. Sense enjoyment is not the goal of life. Collecting material opulences is not the goal of life. My fame is also my opulence. My material educational degrees, they are also my opulence. It's not just counted in money term. uh, my followers on Facebook and Insta and Twitter are also is also my opulence. So and of course my wealth, the amount of gold I possess, a car I possess, houses I possess, all of that is my opulence. If I have very influential friend circle, that is my opulence. I can pick up a phone and speak to the chief minister of my state. It's opulence. uh, Not everybody possess that kind of a ability. So this is opulence can have gross form as well as subtle form. Gross form in terms of gold, wealth, bank balance, cars, etc., and subtle form in terms of influence, in terms of power, in terms of so all of that is opulence. So as long as if I'm my goal of life is to get either the sense enjoyment and get opulence, um, I will not be doing justice to my human form of life, because then which implies that I am not even thinking about my real identity of being spirit soul, and I'm completely unaware of all my duties towards my spirit soul. It's like forgetting that the driver exists and forgetting he needs food, and just you starve him day after day after day after day, until and keep polishing the car and forgetting to feed the soul, of they keep polishing the cage and forgetting to feed the bird. So again, various examples by which we can understand that these two are sense enjoyment cannot be done by the soul. Similar, just like petrol cannot be drank, no driver will want to drink petrol, no matter how great quality of it is, because both things are, they're not compatible to each other. Because we find pleasure in sense enjoyment is simply because of the reason, because we think we are our body. This is the point reiterated by many devotees. Again, Bhagavad Gita is a philosophy, is like a bare act. Bhagavatam is examples, case studies. So similarly, now we'll talk about some case studies for 5.5.1, fifth chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, fifth canto, fifth chapter, where where Lord Rishabdev, Lord appear as Rishabdev, and he's speaking with his 100 sons, led by Bharat Maharaj. He's giving some instructions to them, and we'll read those instructions. Now, these are the translation of these instructions. These are the words spoken by Lord, translated by Prabhupada as is. And see how impactful these words are, how powerful the message is. There's no ambiguity. There's no ambiguity. Ambiguity, anything that we have created because of our own attachment to sense gratification and our own attachment for opulence, not from Krishna's point of view. He is extremely clear. And these are translation, as I said, these are the verses translated as is. And the translation itself is such powerful that we can really get the message very loud and clear. There's no ambiguity. Text one: Lord Rishabdeva told his sons, "My dear boys, of all the living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool." What a what a powerful message. Don't work hard day and night simply for sense gratification. He's not saying don't work or don't work hard or don't work hard day and night. What is to be changed? Motive to be changed. The underlying motivational factor should be changed. If you only work hard so that you can get superior quality of sense gratification, a, a, s- a, s- a softer bed, a better television with remote control, with touch screen, a superior body of opposite sex that you can afford now, and by that all of this, you're just wanting to enjoy, and to pay for this you're working hard. If that is our condition, he's saying it's not very intelligent. Why? Because these facilities are available to dog and hogs. They eat stool, but it's available to them also. So even in that body, sexual enjoyment is available. In fact, it is available in more quantity and quality, because don't there are no restrictions. There is no there's no time, place, circumstance, and considerations that animals think before they indulge. So it's far easily available to them than to humans. So if you cultivate very strong attachment for sexuality, sexualization, why not get another next birth, get a body of a dog and hog, and do this all day night? If Krishna thinks like this and gives you a dog or a hog's body in our next life, what's wrong in it? He will be right, because now we will be able to do those same things which we are attempting to do in human body, in much more effective way. But that is degradation. That is degradation. That is demotion. And from that life to again come to the human life, we don't know how many millions of lifetimes we will consume, we will waste. So it is that dangerous. This attachment to the sensual pleasure can lead to that kind of a dangerous results, outcomes. And Lord Rishabdev is warning his sons. If the father is warning his sons, if we are fathers, we should also be warning our children. We should warn our own self first, and then we should warn those whom we can influence, who are under our influence. He speaks further. One should engage. If you don't have to do that, then what is it that you should be doing? He speak about that. One should engage in penance and austerity. to attain the divine position of devotional service. One should attain devotional service, especially in human form. Why? Because by such activity, one's heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life. Isn't it our goal to have eternal blissful life? Eternal happy life? Is it not? If you ask ourselves why we work so hard, is it not because we want this eternal blissful life? We want to live forever. We want to be as healthy as possible. We want to delay our death as much as we can, and we want happiness. We want happiness in life. We want pleasures in life. uh, Rishabh Dev is saying you will attain that. You will attain that. Once when your heart is purified, and when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life. You become eligible to attain eternal blissful life when your heart is purified. Now when that happens, which is and how is the what is this quality of this kind of a life? It is transcendental to the material happiness, and which continues forever. In the next verse, he says that one can attain the path of liberation from material bondage only by rendering service to highly advanced spiritual personalities. For those who are not interested in such activities, who associate with people fond of woman and sex, the path to hell is wide open. Path to hell is woman and sex, and and then everything associated with that, like alcohol, the gambling, uh, the violence, the meat eating, all of that will go hand in hand with all these two activities. The attachment with those two activities, not only if you are attached to it, not only you are fond of all these things, even if you associate with those who are fond of this, that itself is leading you to uh, is highway to hell. That's they say that these are highway, uh, great highways to hell. Very very great speed at which you can progress towards hell with great speed. What speaks further, those who are interested in reviving Krishna consciousness and increasing their love for Krishna do not like to do anything that is not related to Krishna. That's a very important message. If you want to become Krishna conscious, if you want to become devotees of Lord Krishna, you should always remain connected with Krishna. Don't do anything that is unrelated with Krishna. Don't indulge into anything that is unrelated with Krishna. They are not interested in mingling with people who are busy maintaining their bodies, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. They are not attached to their homes, although they may be a householder. Nor are they attached to wives, children, friends, or wealth. At the same time, they are not indifferent to the execution of their duties, which means you can do your duties without being attached to to your people. You can do your duties nicely. You can do your duties lovingly, but you can still remain detached detached from everyone. You may your maintenance, for the purpose of maintenance, you will require money, and for that you will have to work hard. And but you can do that. You can do that with a service attitude to Krishna without getting attached. Rishabh Dev says further that such people are interested in collecting only enough money to keep their body and soul together. Enough to keep body and soul together, nothing more. Very exalted position. Text 4, he continues speaking to his sons that when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, now you're talking about those people who are not on devotional path, who are in the malls right now, who are in theaters right now, who are in the market area, not thinking about Krishna, not thinking about what they can buy and offer to Krishna, but thinking about where they can find their next sense enjoyment, which senses they should indulge now. and where and how much, with whom. They're planning for enjoyments, they're planning for events of enjoyment. I will go here and enjoy like this. I will do this. I will get hold of that person and I'll enjoy like this. This is in this person, this is enjoyable. They look at the whole world from the point of view of their enjoyment. They look at a person of opposite sex and think of how best they can enjoy their current form. This is all their consciousness. If Prabhupada, Prabhupada speaks about those people, that when a person considers sense enjoyment the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad. He certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kind of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. This is very important. All of us have are born. None of us can claim to be avatar or appearance. No, no, we are all born because of our past bad karma, and we are either enjoying or suffering our own karmic reactions in our previous life. And in the current life, we are creating fresh karmas and creating fresh fruits of those karmas. So this is the cycle. The whole the fundamental principle that we exist in this material world today is indication of the fact that we acted wrongly in past. Otherwise we should have been in spiritual world. But the reason that the very fact that we are in the material world indicate tell us that we goofed up sometime back. We goofed up in our previous births, and that's why we have been given this body. We, instead of sending us back to Krishna, we have been sent back into the womb of another mother, and we have been given this current body in whatever condition that we may have today. So the idea is, having we should learn our lessons. Having goofed up once, we landed up where we are today. Now we should be determined not to do same mistake again, not to repeat the same mistake again. So this is where uh, with this Lord Rishabh is warning his children. So actually the living entity should not have taken on the material body. We don't belong to this place. We shouldn't be here. But the reason, the very fact that we are here, um, means we acted wrongly in our previous lives. He says that actually the living entity should not have taken on material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification, because this is what the desires that we cultivated in our previous birth. And unfortunately, had we cultivated a desire to love and serve Krishna, we would have been in spiritual world in right now, as we speak. But because we have developed a desire for sense gratification, we have been given our present body for attempting another sense gratification in this lifetime. So therefore, I think it is not befitting on befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. Again, this is a message to reflect upon. Because I acted wrongly in my previous birth, instead of cultivating a desire to love and serve Krishna, instead of becoming devotee of Krishna, I became devotee of my senses. I've been given my current body for another attempt to for sense gratification. And if I repeat my mistake again, then I can keep getting such bodies practically perpetually. So unless I rectify my consciousness from sense enjoyment to serving senses of Krishna, um, I will not be able to escape the cycle of repeated birth and repeated death. A very important message a father has to give to his son. And we all should learn. We all should learn from, because he's Lord Krishna appearing as Rishabdev. So we should all learn from him and take to our heart these instructions. and follow them to the best of our ability. Another beautiful set of instructions come from Prahlad Maharaj in the seventh canto of Srimad Bhagavatam when he is speaking to his friends of other demons. The children of other demons are all studying along with him in the Gurukul, and he's speaking to them in sixth chapter of seventh canto. The first verse, Prahlad Maharaj said, "One who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life. In other words, from the tender age of childhood to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary, like other bodies, it is meaningful because in human life one can perform devotional service." Imagine. Remember this again, very important message. Only in human body you can perform devotional service. That gets counted in all, which means in all other forms of bodies, devotional service is not available. There are exceptions like Gajendra, but we don't fall part of those exceptions. So we should consider ourselves. It is not available. So don't try to become something else. Don't try to become a dog or a hawk or a tree or a bird. No matter how much we love them, become now you are a devotee. Remain a devotee. Become nice devotee of Lord Krishna. Cultivate loving service attitude for Krishna, and end of this life go back to Krishna. Finish your business in this material world. No more uh, no more entering the womb of another mother. Punarapi janama, punarapi marana, punarapi matri dhar, the Purana, there's another beautiful verse by written by Shankaracharya, that where he says that this repeated cycle of birth and death and entering into the womb of another mother should be stopped. Use your human life for that. This is again a very powerful message here by Prahlad Maharaj. So it can be human. In human life one can perform devotional service. Further he says even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete protection. 7.6.1 second text, the human form of life affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. Now again this is critical, this is very very explicit. Again these are translations of the verses, they are not Prabhupada. What This is not what Prabhupada thought. It's not his mind. He's not writing out of his whatever he thought. These are direct translations given by Srila Prabhupada of what Prahlad Maharaj spoke. The human form of life affords one a chance to return home back to Godhead. Therefore, every living entity, especially in human form of life, must engage in devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. This devotional service is natural because Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the most beloved, the master of the soul, and the well-wisher of all of other living entities, living beings. 3. Text 3, the Prahlad Maharaj continued, "My dear friends, born of demoniac families, the happiness perceived with reference to the sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life according to one's past creative activities. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress." So, Prahlad Maharaj is again saying something. Nobody endeavor to get distress. Nobody try work hard to get distress. However, they get distress. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying, in the same way, you will get happiness also. Why? Because both are a result of your past karma also. So they are being delivered to you wherever and whenever possible. Wherever need arises, they are delivered to you. So without working unnecessarily very hard also, the happiness and distress both will get delivered to you. Text 4, Prahlad Maharaj says, endeavors merely for sense gratification or material happiness through economic development are not to be performed, for they result only in a loss of time and energy with no actual profit. Even economic development, Prahlad Maharaj is saying that not endeavors for sense gratification and economic development, which means increasing our uh, opulence. Now, those both don't result in actual profit because both will get nash. Both will get destroyed after the destruction of our present body. In contrast to that, he says, if one's endeavors are directed towards Krishna consciousness, one can surely attain the spiritual platform of self-realization. There is no such benefit from engaging oneself in economic development. Again, a couple of beautiful verses from Bhagavad Gita which reiterate this point subsequently in Bhagavad Gita 5.22 and 23. Very direct condemnation of sense gratification, excessive sense gratification, excessive attachments to the sense gratification. Krishna says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukha yonaya evate adya anta vanta kanteya na teshu ramate buddhaha. And which says that an intelligent person does not, buddha means intelligent person, ramate buddha. He does not delight, does not take part in the sources of misery which are due to the contact of the material senses. An intelligent person does not delight, does not want, does not depend for his happiness, uh, the satisfaction that you get by connecting senses with the sense object. Senses with the sense object. So sense of perfume and nose, connecting senses with the sense object. If for happiness you're dependent on that smell alone, then he says you are not very intelligent, you're not very buddha. A buddha will always be happy, will be happy independent of all the opulence and the sensual pleasures available. Without them also he can remain happy. um, Yehi samsparsha hoga. What is the problem with this kind of with these sensual pleasures? They have adya, anta, vanta, kanteya. They have adya and anta. Adya is beginning and anta is end. So they have beginning and they have end, and therefore wise people don't delight in them. Then what should they do? What do they do? Shaknoti haivasya soudhum praksharira vimokshanat kama krodho bhavam vega sa yuktaha sa sukhi naraha. Then how do they get happy? How do they become happy? They become happy, explained in the 23rd verse, that before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is
Hare
well.
Krishna Prabhuji, you are not audible.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji. You
Now
are
it is
audible
perfect,
now.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, audible
Volume
now.
was a little bit low. Yes, Guruji.
Okay, okay. Hopefully this is better. So we're just discussing 5.23, where Krishna says that what should be done. You should you should before giving up the present body, before giving up means during our lifetime, if what we should be able to do, we should be able to tolerate the urges of material senses, check the forces of desire and anger. Um, these three things, material senses, desires, and anger. Desire originate from mind. Desire and anger originates from mind. So, urges of material senses and control desire and anger. If we can do this, then we can live happily even in this world. Otherwise, we are going to be unhappy. So, Krishna Krishna, in the first six chapters of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually harps or focuses on the regulation, sense control, and speak elaborately, verse after verse. He is harping, he is focused on reiterating this point that if you run behind sense pleasure and opulence, your life will be destroyed. Now, the same Krishna we know is famous for performing so many pastimes. Is this not an irony that that on one hand, you're famous for gopi, for stealing clothes of gopis, for performing rasa dance, and so many other activities, for stealing butter. Gopi jana vastrahari, makhana taskara. If you wanted to eat, um, you should have eaten at your home. You had 9 lakh cows at home with so many, so many servants, so many people to serve you. And what do? You become taskar. Taskar is a smuggler, a gold taskari, you know, drug taskari, and then so taskar means stealing, smuggling, or uh, very high class stealing. And Krishna is worshipped for stealing butter. Krishna is worshipped for his pastime of Gopi Jana Vastra Hari, and he's telling us that we should control our senses, we should regulate our senses. Is this not ironical? Is this not uh, contradictory? How do we understand that? Yeah, think about this. Ashwini Wadkar Mataji, followed by Vikas Prabhuji. But just
Hare Krishna.
before you answer, Mataji, did this question cross anybody's mind? You can just type yes, no in the chat box. Ever or were you encounter this question by your relatives कि क्यों कृष्णा कृष्णा करते हो? uh, ऐसा क्या है? मतलब he himself is not a role model, so he himself does everything, and then he's probably teaching you कांदा लहसुन मत खाओ, नॉनवेज छोड़ दो, दारू छोड़ दो, सिगरेट भी मत पियो. Have you encountered these questions? I'm getting a lot of yes. Not somebody says no. Um, okay, but a lot of people actually have, and it can cross our own mind as well at times. That yeah. So I think majority of yes. So let's hear some answers from starting with Ashwini Wadkar Mataji and then Vikas Proji. Others can raise hands, please, as well.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम.
Correct.
एक्चुअली कृष्णा जी जो माखन चुराते थे, उस लीला के पीछे का कारण ये था कि सब ग्वालों को उनका माखन मथुरा कंस के पास भेजना पड़ता था, और उनके बच्चों को उतना माखन खाने को नहीं मिलता था. तो कृष्णा ने इसलिए वो लीला की कि वो घर के बच्चों को ही, उनके घर के बच्चों को भी माखन मिल जाए. इसलिए वो चोरी की लीला कृष्णा जी करते थे, और जितना मेरा नॉलेज है. और दूसरा, जो वो गोपियों के कपड़े चुराने की लीला थी, उसमें शास्त्र के अनुसार एक नियम है कि नहाते वक्त थोड़े से कपड़े, अगर नदी में नहा रहे हैं, पवित्र नदियों में, तो कपड़े पहन के नहाना चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ नियम है. तो शायद मुझे लगता है कि इसलिए वो लीला उन्होंने की कि सबको वो पता चले. ऐसा मुझे लगता है प्रभु जी, अगर कुछ गलती है तो क्षमा कर.
Okay,
हरे
thank you.
कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna. Vikas Proji and then Sudekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. So, as Lord Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad Gita that Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavnasi Asmi Tattvata. That how to understand these teachings by Lord Krishna is when we read the understanding of our acharyas, when we understand it from devotees, then the uh, uh, the devotional aspects comes into play. That actually it is he is doing to attract our minds, and whatever leelas he is doing, behind that there is always a wonderful cause, like Mataji mentioned, stealing of butter. So gopis within their mind, and since Krishna is Paramatma sitting in the heart, they used to call actually Krishna, and with very love and affection they used to prepare that butter, and so that he can come and steal. Similarly, that gopi haran leela and whatever pastime of Lord we see, so ultimately behind that there is a purpose of the Lord. And why he is giving us these teaching? He is beyond the all these modes of material nature, and we are entangled in the modes of material nature. So till the time our consciousness is not clarified, it is not cleansed from the contamination, we cannot understand it in the full. And then by under means by that can only be understood by the teachings of our acharyas, and once we understand it, then we know the tattva behind it. And then this question that why he is doing all that, that becomes clear, that ultimately he is the supreme Bhagwan, he is the cause of all causes. And once the cause of all causes is doing everything, means what is there questionable in that? There is nothing questionable. And ultimately the second thing comes is that whatever he is teaching us, we should follow that, because he is the cause of our each and every action that is happening in our life. He is the cause of every action that we are performing. And in that way we can understand these pastimes, that ultimately he is doing it to show that I can do everything, but still I am detached. One of the qualities of Lord Krishna is renunciate, that he comes to steal the clothes of the gopis, but at the same time he turns back and he says that you should follow certain rules, but at the same time I'm fulfilling your desire to be a husband of you, all of you, as you desired, as you asked from Katyayani Devi Mata. So he is giving both. He is giving the teachings as well. He is performing those pastimes also, and at the same time he is showing that whatever I'm teaching you, I'm doing that also. It is not that just I'm preaching you. As in 322, he beautifully says to Arjuna that ultimately, for me, there is nothing in the whole lot of these 14 planetary system which I want and I cannot get. But still, I'm working so that yat yat acharati shreshtas tat tat evetro jana, so that you can follow me. That I am also doing it, despite being Bhagwan. I am presenting myself with my own example to you, that you should you should do as per work as per my instruction. So that is my little understanding, Guruji. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much.
And Varun.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for giving elaborate answer. Suleka Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। प्रभु जी, मुझे ऐसे लगता है जब कृष्णा अवतरित हुए तब व्रज में जो गोप गोपी थे वो उनके एकदम हाईएस्ट ग्रेड भक्त थे, तो उनको सेटिस्फेक्शन करने के लिए कृष्णा ने ये सब लीलाएं की थी। तो हम उनसे कंपेयर करें तो हम कृष्णा को तो हमारे लेवल पर नहीं ला सकते, और ना ही हम गोप गोपियों जैसे लेवल के भक्त है कि हम उनसे कंपेयर करें कि वो तस्करी करते हैं तो हम उनका क्या सुने ऐसे। और दूसरा ऐसे मुझे लगता है कि जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि हम कृष्णा ने गोवर्धन उठाया तो हम गोवर्धन नहीं उठा सकते, तो हम उनके साथ हमारा लेवल कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते। और जो गुरु या श्रेष्ठ है उनका अनुकरण नहीं, हमें अनुसरण करना चाहिए। जो कुछ कृष्णा जी के इंस्ट्रक्शन जो गीता में दिए हैं वो हमें फॉलो करने चाहिए, ना कि वो जो कृत्य करते हैं उनको हमें फॉलो करना चाहिए, ऐसे मुझे लगता है प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you so much. I think both of them covered a lot of aspects of this particular question, which often comes up in discussions amongst people in general talk. Everybody knows Krishna. Everybody claims to know Krishna, and this is what their understanding is, unfortunately. And so it's like sometimes example can be given that of a king. A king on his own, by his own sweet will, may wish to visit jail just to see how things are in the jail. And king, nobody can stop. So king, jail is made by the king. So jailer is appointed by that king. So so whenever king wants, he can enter the jail. Once king comes inside a jail, there are prisoners. There is a jailer and there is this king. Prisoners start seeing king also inside the jail, and he thinks like we have done something wrong and we are inside this jail. This king seems to have also done something wrong, because of which he is now inside the jail. So we are equal. We are not different. So whatever, and then king remains king. Even if he is inside the jail, he is not bound by the rules of that jail. He is not bound by the rules of that jail. So at his own sweet will, he may wish to take lunch with all the prisoners. He may go and stand in the queue, pick a, lift a plate, and appears as if he is also taking the same lunch that that's being served to the prisoners. He may sit along with them and actually eat. Now, at his when he wants, he may do that, and when he wants, he may break any rules. When there will be time when those prisoners are sent to do hard work in the bright sun, hot sun, uh, king may choose to have conduct meeting with the jailer and other officers inside an air conditioned cabin. Now, a rule is that all prisoners should go and work in hot sun, and king is not following that rule. Why? He's breaking that rule because everybody will see that he's sitting inside an air conditioned cabin and talking to some people while everyone else is made to suffer in the sun. can how can king how can he do that? He can do that because he may at his own will choose to follow some rules and choose not to follow some other rules, or any rules for that matter. He is not bound by the rules of the jail. Whereas everybody else is bound by the rules of the jail. Similarly, we are bound by the laws of material nature, laws of karma, and therefore we've been given our current bodies and current sets of enjoyments and sufferings. Because Krishna, when he comes, he is not bound by any of these rules. He is free to do some things, certain things, and he is free not to do certain things. He's Swarat is completely independent. We have our little and minute independent with us. Krishna has complete independence. And he will do anything and everything, but he will also, the whole purpose of his coming to the jail, whole purpose of kings coming to the jail is to inspire people to become better citizens and not to spend rest of their lives inside the jail. If they get a chance, they should revive themselves. If they get a chance, they should reform themselves. A jail is not perfect place for them to live. Outer world can offer them far better opportunities, and king during his visit may want to inspire these prisoners to at least think about coming out. Don't go inside, don't rot inside the jail. It's not such a great place. So, uh, so that's precisely what Krishna does whenever he comes. He performs Leela, he performs pastimes, but he also inspire people to come back to him, to come back to the spiritual world that exists. He provide information. He sends devotees who can show by personal example how to perform devotional service and how to go back to Krishna. So it is perfectly all right for Krishna to do whatever he is doing, he has done, and it is perfectly necessary for us to follow his instructions, not to do anukaran, but to do anusaran, as highlighted by Mataji. Another question is, all these teachings were given to the king. All these, we heard of Rishabh Dev. King, he was a king. Bharat Maharaj was ruling the whole planet. So they are all royalties. I mean, they lived in palaces and they lived in Prahlad Maharaj. We heard a lot of, he ruled for thousands of years, and at the order of Narsingadev. Arjun, the whole Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna. Arjuna was not a simple householder earning salary. He was living in palace. He had wives, he had children, he had grandchildren, and led an extremely opulent life. He had such a beautiful form that even apsaras were getting attracted towards him during his stay in Svargaloka. So he was extremely opulent, beauty, beauty, power. He contained everything and all kind of opulences. And so these teachings are given to the kings, and they have preached us. We heard what Rishabdev was speaking. We heard what Prahlad Maharaj was speaking. So the question is it how it is possible to live in palace but remain unattached to Bhoga and Aishwarya that is available? What are your thoughts about it? Is it possible? It is impossible? Yes, Sulekha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mata Prabhuji. एक्चुअली लास्ट मीन्स इस सैटरडे महाराज जी ने बोला था, एक क्वेश्चन आया था, तब महाराज जी ने बोला था कि देयर इज नो मटेरियल लाइफ एंड स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ डिफरेंट. वी आर born here to just perform spirituality. मीन्स ऐसे हम अलग नहीं कर सकते. तो जो ये ऋषभ देव है या भरत महाराज है, वो हायर ग्रेड ऑफ डिवोटीज है, तो उनके लिए मटेरियल और स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ अलग नहीं है. इट इज माय ओपिनियन एज पर मीन्स एस्ट्रजी जो बोला था उस हिसाब से मुझे ऐसे लगा कि उनके लिए मटेरियल लाइफ और स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ अलग नहीं है. ये यहाँ पे सिर्फ स्पिरिचुअल प्रोग्रेस के लिए व्यवसाय का बुद्धि रख के ही आए हैं. तो उनके पास कितना भी ऑपुलेंस हो, वो उस पे एंटेंगल नहीं हुए हैं. उनका जो गोल है वो क्लियर है कि हमें फिर से गोलोक धाम जाना है. इसके लिए दे कैन परफॉर्म बेटर इन दैट opulence also. हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna. Sanjeev Prabhuji and then Vikas Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. You know, Prabhuji, this is actually possible only for persons who are having knowledge. Knowledge is the key. Otherwise, material wealth and opulence will certainly become an obstacle. And that is what exactly Maharani Kunti also says in her prayer to the Lord, that all this opulence are obstacles. So to that extent, it's really the knowledge which can, you know, make you free and keep you detached from this opulence. Otherwise, without that knowledge, one can easily get attached to all this material opulence. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for nicely highlighting that Kunti Maharani's prayers also. Very beautiful prayers. Yes, Vikas Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. So, as we learned from the fourth chapter that evam parampara praptam imam raj rishyo vidu, that this knowledge of the scriptural knowledge, it has been given in parampara to rishis, and they to the kings, and those kings used to be the raj rishis. That and essentially the essence of the scripture, like Brahmaji is mentioning in Brahm Samhita, that you are the Sarv Karan Karanam, and these kind of teachings were actually given to them, that you need to propagate this amongst your praja. So that ultimate goal of human form of life is to attain Lord Krishna. Nate vidu swart gati me Vishnu, like Srila Prabhupada mentions at and so often at many times. So when they were propagating this message, and they are the Shresh Purusha in the society, so they need to show it up by their own example. So they were following it, that whatever teaching I am propagating amongst my own presence, then I need to show it up by my own example. And they have been taught by the sages this particular thing. As the sons of the Rishabdev, they were particularly told the goal of life by Lord Shiva himself. So in that way, actually, they were practicing that consciousness. And since they were practicing and they were knowing that whatever adi antvant konte annate suramte buddha, they were intelligent, and they were knowing that yahi samsparsja bhoga dukkha yonaya evte. So entangling in this opulence and the palaces that has been given, that is given for duty, so that we can convey it to the people at large. that this is not my real goal of life, but the real goal of life is attainment of Krishna, performing devotional service. And similarly, what was done by Bharat Maharaj, that he left the kingdom for the higher purpose. Although he did everything that was to be done as the duty of the king, but at the same time, for attainment of that higher goal, he left that palace in the midst of his youth. And in that way, they were. That is my the little understanding, Guruji, that how they used to remain detached from that Bhoga and Aishwarya, although it was available to them. Hare Krishna. Then Pranam. Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. We have a couple of more hands raised. We are approaching the time. Uh, yeah, we'll just take answers to these questions from these two, and then we'll move forward. Yes, Lakshmi Mataji, very quickly, and then Subhash Prabhuji.
एक्चुअली भरत महाराज जो है अपने राज्य को छोड़ के चले गए थे वन में प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए, तो बैक टू गॉड हेड जाने के लिए। लेकिन वहां जाने के बाद थोड़ा दिन के बाद उनको वो हिरण्य की बच्चे के साथ में तो लगाव हो जाती है, तो फिर वो अंतकाल में वो उसकी स्मरण में उनका मृत्यु हो जाने से तो वो हिरण की बच्चे के समान हिरण की जन्म लेते हैं उस हिरण की जन्म में। लेकिन उनकी जो अपनी भक्ति की वजह से उनका सब कुछ याद है, मैं पहले जन्म में क्या था क्या नहीं था, मैं कैसा हो गया करके। वो उसी इसमें से तो फिर अपने भगवान की स्मरण ही करते रहते थे। फिर उस जन्म में भी उनका डेथ होने के बाद उन्होंने अगेन मनुष्य जन्म लिया था।
नहीं माता जी, क्वेश्चन इज कि कैसे, मतलब इन स्पाइट ऑफ लिविंग इन opulence, हाउ कैन बी, जैसे इफ आई आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन दैट इफ यू आर स्विमिंग इन ओशन कैन यू रिमेन ड्राई, इट्स एज डिफिकल्ट, वेरी डिफिकल्ट। सो आप पूरे, आप किंग हो, क्वीन हो, एंड यू आर लिविंग इन अ पैलेस, हाउ, एंड एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल, the sense, enjoyment, and opulence is so much available in such a huge quantity and quality, of best quality. How can you remain how can you remain detached from it? That's the question. We'll eventually discuss Bharat Maharaj pastime in detail, but if you can have quick answer for this, that's what we are discussing right now.
इन सब में हमें डिटैचमेंट तो होना चाहिए, तभी तो हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। बस
नहीं, क्वेश्चन वही है कि कैसे डिटैच हो सकता है, कि जैसे कि हम बोले कि पानी में रहना है और सूखना है, सो दैट्स अ क्वेश्चन। से सुभाष प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। बेसिकली पानी में जैसे आप बोल रहे हैं प्रभु जी, पानी में तैर रहे तो हमें ये समझना है कि शरीर गीला होगा लेकिन हमारी आत्मा गीली नहीं हो रही है। इसी तरीके से जो श्रेयस अगर हम समझेंगे तो जो जिस प्रवृत्ति का होता है, जैसे हमारा कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस है, तो कॉन्शियस तरीके से हम जिस प्रवृत्ति के हैं, अगर मुझे ज़्यादा धन मिलेगा, मेरा उदार आचरण है या ग्रेसफुल एंड ग्रेटिट्यूड गिविंग का है, तो हम उसको उसमें उपयोग करेंगे। और हमारी प्रवृत्ति अगर माइजर हैं, कंजूस हैं, तो ज़्यादा पैसा मिलेगा तो हम अपने उसमें लपट जाएंगे। तो भगवान का नाम, भजन, ध्यान, ये सब संकीर्तन और ये सत्संग से हमको अपने कॉन्शियसनेस को आगे ऐसा बढ़ाना है कि जिससे हमको जो भी मिल रहा है वो हम समझें सेवा के लिए मिल रहा है। जैसे एक फैक्ट्री में मशीनें होती हैं प्रोडक्शन के लिए, बट उनका मेंटेनेंस भी जरूरी होता है। तो सेंस प्लेजर ऐसा है कि हम ये ना समझें कि मशीनें केवल मेंटेनेंस के लिए हैं, वो बेसिकली दुनिया के लिए कुछ प्रोडक्शन कुछ करके अच्छा देने के लिए है, सेवा के लिए है। हमारा भी एक मशीन की तरह अगर देखेंगे तो आत्मा के रूप से अगर चलेंगे तो डायरेक्शन उधर से मिलना चाहिए, और हमको जो मिला है वो सेवा के लिए मिला हुआ है, ऐसा मेरा भाव है।
Thank you
हरे
so much.
कृष्ण प्रभु जी,
Hare
धन्यवाद
Krishna.
प्रभु।
Thank you so much. Pravilka, you want to say something? Very quick comment.
Yes, sir. Like everyone said, we can be unattached by surrendering everything to Lord Sri Krishna. We can say after doing something, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanam. Like whatever we are doing, it is everything belongs to God.
Yeah,
With
very nice.
whole consciousness, with pure heart, we need to say this. It is if we are eating also, we need to say this is for God. It is like a prasadam he is giving for us. We are offering again back to Krishna. That's it. Whatever action we are doing in heart, we should say it's all belongs to Krishna. I am just a medium instrument. That's it. My main goal is to reach Krishna. That's it. We should not show off everything. We need to internally chant his names and we need to surrender. That's it. What I follow these days is this, sir.
Yes, very nice, put. And I think many of those answers are very nicely, I think, covered all aspects of this problem. That how can we remain detached while we could be in the midst of all of this. And sis also um, one project brought up the issue of knowledge. Definitely, it's very critical to cultivate knowledge by constant reading of Bhagavad Gita, by constant reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, where this message is given repeatedly. Because we forget fast, we need to read every day to remind ourselves very quickly. So knowledge, cultivation of knowledge is very critical. That's why Prabhupada has recommended set up a process of reading Bhagavatam every day, reading Bhagavad Gita every day. And this does not get over when it goes to the last verse of 18th chapter. Start from the first verse of first chapter continuously, because there's no end. Endlessly you can keep reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Knowledge is important, sadhana is important. uh, if we may have knowledge and we may still fall prey to our temptations, we will see that very quickly. So sadhana is critical. That will help us not only differentiate between right and wrong, but give us courage to choose right over wrong. Both are important, and association is important. Ultimately, as Pravilka mentioned, that everything is Krishna's. We need to have this conviction. जैसे हम गंगा में we stand in waters of Ganges and we pick up water of Ganga and offer it to Ganga. Similarly, we have taken everything from Krishna and we are offering it to Krishna. Whatever is available to us is everything belongs to Krishna. So that should be our mood. If we have that mood, we can take back that we can be in the midst of all kind of opulences that people desire, but we can still remain at the level of soul, at the level of our mind. We can still remain detached. Nothing will impact us. So that's possible. And that possible, as I said, by cultivation of knowledge, by performing sadhana, strong knowledge, good association, and have faith and deep conviction about the process. We'll do this as a homework. What can we do to implement these teachings in our life at our level? This is something we have to contemplate and think about it. We have a picture of Hiranyakashipu, Bhoga Aishwarya Prasaktanam. It's best represented by Hiranyakashipu. Hiranya means gold and Kashipu means soft bed for sensory enjoyment. So Hiranyakashipu should be the role model for all of those who are, pursuing, who are in the pursuit of getting best quality and quantity of Bhoga and Aishwarya. Most of them are actually trying to become Hiranyakashipu in small and big way. So, but their all their endeavor, just like Hiranyakashipu failed, all of these are failing. If Hiranyakashipu couldn't get succeeded, couldn't succeed, what to speak of these smaller, tiny Hiranyakashipus? What is their hope? They actually have no hope. But still, we find in this world many people are chasing or mad behind sense gratification and opulence. What can we do? Why they are unable to give us happiness? The sense objects and the sensual pleasures are unable to give us complete satisfaction. And why? Because the problem is that of availability. Watching a movie once, wherein we may have desire. One of the that there's a two discussion happening between two friends, when childhood friends, when they grew up, and they're talking about cheating. And then one says that how many women you have made love with in your mind, and he said millions. So does that amounted to cheating, was their topic of discussions. But availability itself is issue. We may have endless desires for endless enjoyment, but not everything will ever become available to us. Even if it is available, we have capacity issue. We can only eat so much. No matter, we've had we've heard about events where people eat, fill their bellies, and then they go and puke, and then come back and continue their eating. They have so much lust for eating that, because their bellies become full, they go and puke, they throw out everything, wash their face, and come back and start eating again. uh, how stupid can there be? Something more stupid than this? Very, no, very difficult. And tea. Tea is time. uh, Time adya anta vanta konteya, that eventually this will get over. whatever we may Whatever we may want may be available to us. We may have a lot of capacity to enjoy that sense object, but eventually it will get over. Either that object will get over, or we will be finished. Our capacity, our ability to enjoy itself will get over, and eventually we will be finished. Our body will get over. So beyond a point, they will always lead to anybody who is chasing bhoga and aishwarya will lament. It's a question of when, not not a question of if they will lament. It's a question of when they will lament. It's just a matter of time that they will certainly lament. They will be misery. They will feel miserable soon. How do we deal with it at our level? One few tips. When temptations or for sense enjoyment comes, why they come? Because of our past indulgences in this life or in past life. We still have some taste for them. We still could have some taste for meat eating. We still could have some taste for drinking alcohol. We must have stopped it hopefully by now, but we still have some taste for all that, and we used to enjoy those uh, those indulgences with our friends and families and picnics and here and there. So we have some taste for it because of our past indulgences. And when we are presented with those tempting scenarios today, we fight a battle with them. We fight with them at four level. At initial level, yeah, at initial level, we may fight a battle when we are presented with a tempting scenario. We may fight a battle and we lose helplessly. But slight provocation, we get into the indulgence. We forget all our knowledge. That's what happened with Ajamil. He forgot all the knowledge that he possessed, and he simply went ahead and um, got married with that prostitute, brought her home, kicked out his parents and wife, and did all that what he should not have done. So this is losing helplessly to the tempting scenario. Next is we fight very hard against tempting desires, using all our knowledge, bringing in all arguments. So this battle inside the mind is fought very hard, but at the end, we may lose. We may lose because the desire for enjoying overpower our knowledge, covers our knowledge. But we fight. It's not that we are helplessly surrendering to any tempting situations. We are actually fighting. But end of that, we are losing. But as if we continue to be in association of devotees, if you continue to perform sadhana nicely, sincerely, and if you continue to cultivate knowledge, eventually a stage will come in our life where we will fight very hard and we will win against those tempting desires and situations. And we will not indulge. We will not indulge. We will be able to say no with conviction, with firmness, and we walk. We can protect ourselves from those situations. And last is we win easily or effortlessly against tempting situations or desires. Um, Again, every desire, every distraction in our life can follow different path. We might be we might be at fourth stage as far as meat eating is concerned, but watching OTT or excessive watching OTT, we might be at two. I hope you are following what I'm saying. We might be, as far as meat eating is concerned, I'm at four. No matter whatever you present, whichever dish you may present, if I will, without looking at it, also I will say no to it. I don't, and I'll not regret. But watching movies, watching OTT, watching cricket matches, I could be at two. I know it's a waste of time, shouldn't be doing it, but I may, and I know, but so there is always a battle that I fight with my mind, and but I sometimes lose, I sometimes win. So sometimes I might be at two, sometimes I might be at three, but I'm not able to sell my. But the day I sell my TV and I switch to a button phone, I'm saying I'm at four, even as far as watching those things are concerned. So with every temptations, with every desire, with every indulgence, with every sense object, every sense gratification idea, we could be at any of these four stages. For buying a new sari, some people might be at one. The moment they see a beautiful sari, they just go and buy helplessly, as if somebody forced them to buy them. Some may be at two. They will struggle, they'll consider, maybe not now, maybe postpone, maybe, but it's too good, it's too nice, it's too soft, it's too, yeah, bright, the beautiful color, you don't get those. And then, you contemplate hard, and then sometimes you could be two at two, sometimes you could be three. You don't need it and you may end up buying it. You don't need it and you may sometimes able to say no to it. So with different objects, different uh, weaknesses that we have, we could be at different stages and each of those are different battles. A battle for alcohol can be, somebody can be anywhere here, somebody can be at four, somebody can be at two or three, in between, grappling between two and three, sometimes two, sometimes three, and somebody can be in one and somebody can be in four. So everyone will follow every our weakness will have different path, different battle. And our knowledge, sadhana, association, and conviction will help us progress further in all of these. Just to summarize, we need single-minded focus. That's a need of the hour. For material as well as spiritual goals, we need focus. And attachment and to Bhoga and Aishwarya will not let us dedicate ourselves to Krishna, will prevent us, will keep us bound in this material world. So various instructions in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam warns us against developing this excessive attachment to this. It's not that you just need to say no to them completely, but over attachment to them, asakti, prasaktanam, that is the word, which is overly attached to the sense gratification and opulence, that will become a obstacle in your progress in Krishna consciousness. So how much is excess, how much is tolerable, that individually we may have to decide. And therefore we need devotees to consult, we need to consult with devotees on these aspects. So where to stop, when to stop, and then that's where devotees can help us guide. But otherwise we just will struggle to differentiate if I'm excessively attached or I'm just doing barely necessity, doing it for my bare necessities. One should always seek that where is the fine line lies, where is that fine line exist, and we should always be aware of it. Whereas so the world preaches in the opposite way. Actually the greed is good is the mantra of this world. um, that's why iPhone keep coming up with newer and newer technologies, newer and newer the accessories to keep you busy in this material world, to keep you in this material world forever, perpetually. So temptations will come due to our indulgences in the current as well as past lives and our association. but we need to fight with them using our knowledge, sadhana, association, and conviction. If we can do that, uh, we should be able to be victorious, and we should be able to achieve the goal of our life, that is going back home, back to Krishna, uh, and ending the cycle of repeated birth and repeated death. So we'll conclude with the reminder to everyone to join morning japa session and reading session in the evening. We'll circulate the slides so that all of you can have these details. We circulate these details in our groups every day so that you can have them handy. So whenever you choose, you can actually join those sessions and take benefit. So we'll conclude. Um, I'll just wait for just to see if anybody has any quick questions. Sanjeev Prabhuji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for such a wonderful session. My question, Prabhuji, is, amongst all the attachments in the material world that we have, the biggest attachment is to one's own body. And, you want to avoid discomfort to the body at all costs. And Prabhupada ji has said that in devotional service, one needs to rise very early in the morning. Ideally, one should be waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning and then attending Mangala Aarti and so on and so forth. So, Prabhuji, this is a big obstacle practically, to achieve. I would like you to please share how does one achieve this, rising early at 4 a.m. in the morning, and what has been your personal experience in this? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for very nice question. uh, so typically, this is the instruction given by Prabhupada, and in the early days, the movement was predominantly operated through temples, which means that anybody who would join Krishna consciousness would actually shift to temple and then they live in the temple. And in the temple, this routine was followed, that everyone will be up by 3:34. They will attend Mangalati, they'll attend the entire morning program, and then they will go out for book distribution, Sankirtan, they will come back, and all of that was there. Eventually, the movement grew. It grew out of temple, and then there used to be grahasthas who would take purchase homes or live on rent very close to the temple, but it became like an extension of temple, and eventually it kept growing, the community kept growing, and then came the the concept of life membership, where the devotee, those who become life member, they are very positive, but they come to temple only for festivals, they come occasionally to temples, and they generally are busy in their work, but don't are not able to follow all the rules and regulations that are there for the temple devotees, and this kept expanding and outwards. So as we go from as you go outwards, as you enter the outer circle, go from the inner circle to outer circle, that outwards as you move, the the practices reduces, the practices that were recommended, they start reducing. So if we are living in a temple today, if we live in a dham today, everyone wakes up at 3:30, everyone goes to the Mangalati, and everyone follow the routine. Once you are back in your cities, once you are back in your homes, and then you are governed by the events at your home, not everything is in your control. The exams, the medical condition of some people, and all of that can become obstacle in following the routine which you otherwise were following in when we were in Vrindavan, when you were in Mayapur. It doesn't mean that we should not aspire to follow that, and there are many devotees who actually follow that routine, exact routine. They attend Mangalati on using their mobile, using their, or they perform it at their own homes. But
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry to interrupt. Your voice is very low.
oh, so sorry. Uh, so is this? I'm not sure why it's like this, but could be the internet issue. Uh, yeah, but is this better now?
Yes, Prabhuji, loud and
All right.
clear.
Okay. So I'll just conclude very quickly, Sanjeev Raji, that it has to be done based on our own inspiration, and our own the facilities that are available with us. There are the highest standards. These are the highest standards. If we are not able to do anything like this, come a level below or a level below, maybe at not at 4, maybe at 5, maybe at 6, maybe at least at 7 o'clock. So I'm saying the whole way, the if somebody performs work in night shift or work in say UK shift, they sleep only by 1 o'clock. So for them it becomes practically very difficult to get up early morning and perform Mangalarti or attend Mangalarti even on internet. So based on our time place circumstances, so these are highest standards. Based on our time places and circumstances, we should try to follow them to the best of our ability. If not here, at least here. It's not that, and wherever we are, we should aspire to go upwards. If we are able to get up at 7 o'clock today, we should aspire. Why not 6:30? Why not 6? Then maybe next year, maybe 5:30, and so on and so forth. So it's a progression. There's a progression built into anything. And even if you wake up, even no matter if you're in Vrindavan or in Mumbai, if you wake up at 4 a.m. and perform Mangalarti, the quality can be improved. Yesterday, we thought that doing it more doesn't always doing it more in terms of quantity, but also the quality can be improved, and our every Mangalarti can become divine experience, the divine spiritual experience for us, if we actually get into that consciousness. So these are some of the things, and some of the basic other things which we can do at our level, at material level, is basically to wind down our day early, finish dinner early, avoid eating after 7 p.m., avoid late evening meetings, avoid unnecessarily uh, avoid watching television late night, watching news, telecasts, movies, OTT. Avoid all that exposure after a certain time, and then just just slow down pace of your day towards the end and just sleep as early as you can. So if you can sleep at 9:30, 10 or 10:30, that's still great if you can achieve that. And then waking up at 4 a.m. is not should not become a difficulty. Waking up, if 4 can be still difficult, wake up at 5 a.m. That's perfectly all right. There are many temples in which the Mangalarti timings are kept flexible depending on time, place, circumstances. In winters, the Russian temples start 1 hour late. So it's not about so much about the clock that we are able to hit. It's about the consciousness that we are able to achieve. How much remembrance of Krishna that we are able to cultivate. So we may attend all Mangalartis, but we may not like Krishna. We may not, we may do it as a matter of duty, but we may not have cultivated that love for Krishna. That endeavor is, I mean, if for somebody who has done that, who has cultivated love for Krishna, versus somebody just attending one Mangalarti, may not really become the only success criteria. That is how so you can look at it. Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vishwanath Prabhuji, yes, you have a question. Not able to hear if you are speaking. Your voice is very low, Prabhuji.
Hello, I am audible now. Hare Krishna.
Yes, better.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Pranam. Thank you very much for this beautiful session. So actually, means a lot of point to take away from this session. This is actually practical session where you have to follow that we should say. So actually, I just highlight one example and one more question, slightly out of this topic. So that example, I remember that Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, Badar, Lord Bharat. So he while Ram in exile. So he not attached to that Ayodhya and he performed his duty very well. And once that Ram come from this Miss Vanvas, then actually it mentioned the scripture that is 10 times greater than earlier occurrences. So we can follow Miss Lord, that Bharat example also, Lord Ram Badal. And my one question is out of topic that Miss we know that we should don't have miss any material desire, right? So we should have miss all the spiritual desire, miss so in that spiritual desire also we have some desire like we have to go to go to go to back go to Golok Vrindavan, and sum up and main objective is to go. I mean, we have pure devotional service for Lord Radha and Krishna. So my question is that means we have means spiritual goal, that is all right, but in that spiritual goal also we should have which goal means which is the highest goal we should which is the highest desire we should aim means we have to go to Golok Vrindavan, or we should achieve means pure devotional love for Radha and Krishna. Because in Sixthagasham, I mean Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentioned that न धनम न जनम न सुंदरिम मम जन्मने जन्मेश्वरी भवता भूतु है कृते. Okay. So I'm just a little confused about this. So can you please guide me on this? Hope my
Yeah,
question is
thank you
clear.
so much. Yes, Suji, thank you so much. And yes, a beautiful example given from Ramayana, how Bharat lived in palace but was completely detached, and he always considered himself to be servant of Lord Ram, and he remained like that all throughout his life, and he was very happy. He was very blissful in that condition. So that's something that we can remember always. Ramayana offers so many teachings in so many ways. We just people conduct seminars on Ramayana, or on one incident of Ramayana, and speak for days and days and days, and still don't finish churning the nectar out of those pastimes and the teachings. So it's an endless ocean of bliss. The whole scripture Ramayana is. About the second question you mentioned about what can be our highest desire. Just like Mahaprabhu explains that, I think, and rightly, as you highlighted, that Mama Janmane Janmaneshwari Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahetuki Tvahi. So this Ahetuki Bhakti, Ahetuki and Apratihata Bhakti, a loving devotional service should be the goal of our life. If that happens, then wherever Krishna wants, he will place us. If as long as the my hand has a desire to serve the rest of the body, the entire body. Wherever the body goes, hand can go. If body goes, so similarly, we shouldn't be worried about where Krishna will place me. Will I be in Ayodhya? Will I be in Vaikuntha? Will I be in uh, Golok Dham? Will I be in Mayapur Dham, Dwarka Dham? Where I might, wherever, because from a soul's point of view, the only the what gives pleasure to hand is serving the body. So similarly, the what continues to give pleasure to the soul is service to Krishna. The hand will keep getting nourished as long as it serves the body. It's put foods into the mouth and it keeps getting nourished. So his pleasure, hand's pleasure is in serving the body. Similarly, soul's pleasure is in serving Lord. Now that Lord could be in whichever dham, whichever form, and whichever pastime he might be performing, wherever he might be and whenever he might be, as long as a soul is continuing to have a desire to lovingly render service to Lord, it doesn't matter where he could be. He could be sent to Calcutta in 1896 when Prabhupada appeared and perform devotional service. His whole life was devotional service. So it doesn't matter. Then it becomes really insignificant where you are and what you're doing. As long as what you're doing is loving devotional service to Lord, you can do it anywhere. Uh, Bharat feels that his life is perfect. He doesn't want anything else because he's now serving Lord Ram. Hanuman feels that his life is perfected because he doesn't want anything else because he is in service of Lord Ram. But Gopakumaras, they feel their life is perfect because they are playing with Krishna and they also don't want anything else because they are performing loving devotional service to Lord Krishna. And gopis also don't say that, and they also don't want anything else because they are also performing loving devotional service to Krishna as per their inclination. So whoever, wherever they are simply serving Krishna. Karishye vachanam tava. That in that mood they're lovingly serving Krishna, and for them that is the highest abode. So for us also we can have our own highest spiritual destination, that is the Swarupa Siddhi, that can get revealed to us as we progress towards Krishna. But whichever that might be, whatever that might be, uh, in even if we become a flute, we just need to think of how I can lovingly serve Krishna more. Even if we become garland, we can think of how we can lovingly serve Krishna more. Uh, as long as that desire is there to serve, it doesn't really matter where we are rendering service. Okay, Prajit?
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for staying back. It's got a little late, and my apologies for the same. But thank you for cooperating. Thank you for staying back, and thank you for participating in group discussion with such a wonderful comments. Thank you so much. We'll continue with our journey of studying Bhagavad Gita systematically from next Sunday as well. Please do join in, and till then, have a great week ahead. Have a great Krishna conscious week ahead. Thank you, everyone. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra
Thank you.
Jai, Srila
Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna,
ki
Prabhuji.
Jai, Jai Gaur
Thank you,
Premanandi,
Prabhuji. Hare
Hari Bol,
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत
Hare
प्रणाम
Krishna.
प्रभु जी
प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम।
हरे
Hare
कृष्णा
Krishna,
Hare
प्रभु जी
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
दंडवत
Prabhuji.
प्रणाम।
Dandavat
Dandavat
Pranam.
Pranam,
Thank you,
Maharaj.
हरे
Prabhuji.
कृष्णा प्रभु जी
Hare
दंडवत प्रणाम।
Krishna.
थैंक यू सो मच।